All right, we're going to be talking about fear and why this is such an important conversation. Fear is one of the most challenging aspects or experiences that we are going to face within ourselves. Fear can completely sabotage our success, our lives, our love, our full expression of self. Fear is going to be also manifesting unconsciously and consciously within ourselves. First, we have the conscious aspect where we will be able to identify our fear. For example, fear of heights, fear of speaking up, fear of public speaking, maybe, fear of spiders even. But there's also going to be the unconscious aspect of fear, where fear manifests in so many different ways that we may become used to or we may not be able to see. As I mentioned, we can identify fear from a conscious level, being very clear and aware of how fear is showing up in our lives or what we are truly afraid of. From a conscious level, we can observe fear of how fear is restricting us or how fear is making us feel. There could be fear of opening our heart, fear of falling in love, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of death, fear of being hurt, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, even maybe fear of the best case scenario, our true authentic selves, our power, the life that we truly desire. Fear can manifest from that point of observation in many ways from the unconscious self, meaning it may hold us back from speaking our truth, from creating a level of success, from opening our heart, from stepping out of our comfort zone, from maybe speaking up in front of people, maybe might limit us from learning something new, from trying something new, maybe even self-development. Maybe, as I mentioned, opening the heart and going on a date or meeting someone new. It can also create maybe self-isolation. It can limit us in so many ways that may manifest in ways of anger and resentment and depression because we are limiting ourselves from rising to our full potential and experiencing life in all forms. When we limit ourselves, we are not allowing ourselves to enjoy life and to rise to our full potential. For myself, I was afraid of public speaking. I was afraid of even doing this. I couldn't even speak in front of 3 or 4 people. And it held me back in life. It held me back from learning. It held me back from social environments. It held me back from growing as a person. It also created a great deal of self-isolation. And the fear inside of me became crippling, where I wasn't able to even speak my truth or speak my knowledge or information. And it has taken me a long time to break through fear. This is an ongoing process. But I made a promise to myself that I was not going to be held back by fear. And since I have been moving out of my comfort zone constantly, testing myself, pushing myself, I have grown more. I have dismantled many fears, many crippling and debilitating fears within myself. I have found my voice. I have lived more, meaning I have experienced more. I have also connected more, and I'm creating more as a result. Fear is one of the most restrictive energies that we can find ourselves in. It can hold us back from so many things in life. It can even cause perfectionism, criticism, and judgmentalness on ourselves and towards others, which holds us back from fully expressing ourselves and shining in our light and engaging with the world in a very fluid and trusting way. So how you can identify if fear is holding you back or creating resistance in your life? Well, first is going to be observing the obvious conscious level fears. Fear of maybe, again, public speaking or being in groups of people or maybe even being open to love or being vulnerable and expressing yourself. Those can be obvious fears to observe. And then you can look a little bit deeper, such as emotional triggers that may arise in certain situations, maybe around people, maybe with a relationship, maybe when you're just about to self-manifest or step out of your comfort zone or do something different. Fear may show up as maybe avoidance of a situation, maybe holding back on experiencing something in life, maybe avoiding self-development and investing into yourself. Wherever you find resistance of any kind, maybe even attachment or detachment or avoidance, that is going to be a very, very strong indicator of where fear may be residing within your subconscious. When we are not in complete flow and openness and understanding within ourselves, and I also want to mention openness, it's energetic. There may be a fear of lack of trust or even being open and having someone attacking us or encroaching on our boundaries. We can still be open while being confident with ourselves and what we want to let in and out. But also too, if we set up a lot of boundaries, and I talked about this in a previous video, we can also prevent the flow of life. This is a bit of a dance that we're in of learning about ourselves, learning our boundaries, learning the fears that reside, learning about our subconscious, learning about our emotions, learning about our thoughts. It's all connected. And our fear really stems from our subconscious self, our limiting beliefs, our deep fears that we have on a very subconscious level that resides within our shadow. And when we can observe it and shine light on those aspects within ourselves, then we begin the process of releasing. We begin the process of integrating and understanding our whole being. And this allows for incredible healing and transformation. It allows for us to become more whole, more aligned, and more integrated beings. So see again where fear may be holding you back in life and lean into it. How can you overcome your fears? What is showing up emotionally that may give you a clue as to how fear might be existing within your subconscious? How is it preventing you from rising to your greatest potential? I remember when I was going through severe depression, a lot of the cause of it was because of fear. I was restricting myself and I was limiting myself in such a drastic way that I had become so oppressed and so depressed on a very deep level. Because I was denying myself, I was denying my full potential, and I was not allowing myself to live to my full potential. But at the time, I didn't realize it. We all have great potential in this life. We can create anything. We can experience anything. Addressing fear is going to help move through some great hurdles in our lives. Fear can be our greatest ally or our enemy. It depends on how we can observe it. By integrating our fear, by understanding our fear, by shining light on our fear, we will become more aware of ourselves and we will be able to experience life fully. For me, I did not want fear to hold me back. I didn't like the feeling of being restricted. I didn't like the feeling of being held back, of not being able to be comfortable in social situations or concealing my emotions or not being able to express myself fully. It was really difficult for me to break through that. But since I have, I feel more aligned and more whole and complete within myself. This truly is an act of freedom within ourselves, letting go of fear and letting go of the restrictions that we have. And it can become very habitual. We can become very comfortable with living in certain aspects of fear. So again, take time to observe where fear is residing within you and how is it manifesting in your life. It can manifest, as I mentioned, as emotions, as thoughts, heaviness, restrictions, the way that one would interact with the world, with relationships, and feeling about oneself. And see how you can start to dismantle those layers within through compassion, through patience, through empathy, through understanding. And it is not a process that needs to be rushed or pushed through by any means, even though sometimes we want great change to happen overnight. But this is a deep process that needs to take shape. This is a deep self-awareness exercise that will create incredible change. So the more that you can identify the deep layers of how fear can be manifesting and what those fears are, then you'll begin the process of shining light on your shadow to set yourself free of your fears. And of course, if you want further guidance and further information on your path to overcoming fears, check out the Shadow Project or the Inner Circle. Or you can even just send me an email and say hi and even share maybe a personal story that you're going through. I'd be happy to get back to you. I'm wishing you all the best on your journey and beyond. Until next time, take care.